A cool build that certain people always enjoyed in POE1 was hand-to-hand combat, but until now we just didn't have a real way to make it viable. Well, that changes now. The monk, as a true martial artist, now has the ability to learn the hollow palm technique, a keystone that lets you use all quarterstaff skills while unarmed. All quarterstaff attacks now have a special unarmed version, and you get further bonuses to all your attacks from stacking energy shield and evasion on your character. A new keystone we also added to the monk section of the tree is Walker of the Wilds. This changes Mana Leech to work with elemental damage instead of physical, which is pretty useful for all those elemental attacks the monk has, but it works well for the ranger too. Now, one of the least used Ascendants.
Okay, so I think we've seen enough. The footage looks very cool, at least in my opinion. So yeah, let's talk about a build potentially in the upcoming patch. I think I really want to try out this build. Probably this is going to be either my first or my second character. Most likely my first, because I think from the patch note, I am slightly skeptical about the warrior being strong enough to just breeze through the campaign. Maybe it is. There's a couple of direct and indirect nerf to the warrior. There is no change to the Titan Ascendancy class. But anyway, I think the Invoker is basically untouched and buffed a little bit in a sense, in some ascendancy point that we can actually use this build. So I want to use Hollow Palm technique on a monk, specifically an invoker. So this keystone now actually allows us to be able to actually build around being unarmed. So a monk can actually be a martial artist finally. In the previous patch, I really tried to make it work, but sadly it's just like not enough damage. The highest tier map that I have done and didn't feel horrible with the same kind of idea is for tier 45. So higher than that, you will struggle in damage. Hollow Palm technique here, we have physical damage based on skill level. This basically gives you a flat amount of damage based on the skill level. So we need to scale based on the base damage number here. And also it gives 1% more attack speed per 25 item evasion rating on your equipped body armor, and then 0.1% crit on your equipped body armor per 10 energy shield as well. So the keyword here is equipped armor items. This one is actually not just your body armor like this one. It also includes your shoes, or your boots, your helmet, your shield or focus, and your gloves as well. So we can potentially, I think it's very, very easy. This is a very like end game armor that I just take a screenshot from trade. But it is quite realistic to get like 450, 500 ES and then some evasion in relatively quick fashion. Maybe it is going to be worse early on, but you know, eventually we should be able to reach the higher tier of gear in the end game. I just want to show like the ceiling for the build. So basically, let's just say this item has 500 energy shield and around 1.3, 1.4k evasion. Let's just assume that number, right? With 500 energy shield, we are having 5% base crit from this line over here. So we also have 5% base crit for being unarmed. That is also an addition this patch. So we are looking at already 10% base crit to work off of. And of course, we have more. We can have a pure energy shield helmet with 400, even come up to like 500, 550 energy shield. That is going to give another 4 to 5% base crit, right? So in terms of crit chance, I don't think it is going to be hard to reach the crit cap number. Because potentially we might be able to get anywhere from 15 to 20 base crit just from the scaling here, depending on how good your gear is. 15 should be quite achievable. It should be relatively easy because we have the flat ES number from all these item slots that I just mentioned, right? So that should not be a problem to cap crit, and the evasion I think is a little bit more of an afterthought because it is more attack speed for clearing, right? I want to use a skill that is Shattering Palm, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, which is this one here, Shattering Palm. So this is a skill. It is really cool. I wanted to play with it before, but the problem is the tool to make it like a smooth and viable skill by itself is not available. But right now I think it is. So we should be having a lot more scaling to play around with this skill. And also the mechanic of the skill is when you dash to an enemy, you strike them and you unleash a wave of cold, which debuff enemies around. And when you kill an enemy with that debuff, it is going to explode. And then basically it create a chain reaction by itself. So it is a very cool skill. It helps you maneuver through your mapping or just combat in general. And it looks really cool. And especially when you work with Hero of Ice, for example, for even more explosion. So this is going to be my skill of choice. I really want to play around with this skill. Again, before we did not have the tool. Now we do. So what are the tools? Number one is going to be Elemental Expression. We already got this. And this is a Ascendancy node or Ascendancy skill that you have for the Invoker. And you trigger Elemental Expression, which is one of 3 versions. Cold, Lightning, or Fire. And those are a spell. You trigger it on melee critical strike. So the idea is, because the Shattering Palm, the initial strike does not do damage, almost no damage at all, and you have to do something to kill an enemy. So I want to strike the enemy, crit, and then trigger the Elemental Expression, which then kill the target and then trigger the chain explosion to kill all the debuffed enemy, and they all explode. And yeah, I think that is a very nice idea. Unfortunately, before we don't have enough damage because Elemental Expression is super weak, by the way. Not only myself, but a lot of other people have tried to make it work, but like quickly realized it is just insanely weak, regardless of how much you try to invest into it, because it is a very limited skill in a lot of ways. So the damage of this skill alone is buffed by roughly 50% on all element version. So you can see the exact number here. I just have the screenshot from the patch note, right? And then we also have Choir of the Storm, which is something we already have as well. I used to use this one before along with Elemental Expression. Again, it is barely enough to help me get through to like Waystone tier 4, tier 5. And higher than that, basically it's not enough damage. Maybe there will be someone out there who already tried it and make it better, but I don't think we have high damage ceiling for all the things that we have here. But we have a new toy. So this thing is going to be big. We have Thunder Fist. This is an endgame item. So I will not be expecting to have it early on, but you know, worst case scenario, we just play without it until we can have it, or we can just play with 2 skill until we can have it. For example, we can use a Charge Staff, for example, is a very nice thing because it is a staff skill, a quarter staff skill. We can use it with being unarmed. We already see it in the footage that GG showed us as well. So it is a secondary attack. It deals damage, and then it will help you to kill the enemy. And Crackling Palm is going to be another one. I think in the end, probably I will not even need Elemental Expression and Choir of the Storm, but I want to still mention it because it is the thing that we already have in the previous patch. Now we have Thunder Fist, which from the name of it, I think this is also an unarmed skill. The Crackling Palm here is an unarmed skill, and it should deal a lot more damage, and it should make more sense to scale with a build that cap out crit chance and is already a melee unarmed attack, right? Before we need to scale spell damage for these, and we need to scale the melee damage for the Shattering Palm. But we can just ignore these two. We can just have Thunder Fist, and now we also have, thanks to the Keystone, we also have things like Charge Staff skill or any other skill, staff skill that you can use to just trigger the chain explosion from Shattering Palm, right? And then, of course, Hero of Ice and Postil Rain. This is just a very classic combo. Obviously, it is already nerfed, right? But if you used it with Shattering Palm, it still basically feels like the same. It's not going to chain explosion like everywhere, like off screen, like it used to be with these two items, but it is going to clear the screen for you. I can guarantee that because I already tried it in the previous version, and now it should be getting even better because the main skill is getting a lot of scaling, right? So last but not least, about single target, right? So holopalm technique, the line here can attack through using quarterstaff, so you can use any quarterstaff skill again. So that means we can use a lot of very powerful quarterstaff skill for single target. For example, we can use the bell, and for example, we can use things like even flicker strike. We can use charge staff again. It's going to be a very nice source of damage. Flurry. You know, there is a lot of skill. Ice strike is going to be very good as well. Maybe even the whirling thing. There's basically any core staff skill is usable. So core staff skill, I don't think they got touched that much in the patch note, so there should be a lot of option available for us to choose from and do single target. So this is just the rough idea of a holopalm technique character, which is going to be a monk invoker. A monk invoker should be very obvious, but I think if we can have our hand on a ring that is original sin, which is actually not an expensive item in POE2, we can potentially convert all elemental damage into chaos and then try a Chayula monk version as well, because Chayula monk got a lot of rework this patch, and I would like to see how it looks like with Unarmed as well. So eventually I think I will start out as an invoker, and eventually I would try to see if we can do anything to make a Chayula monk version. So yeah, that's everything for this video. I'll probably have one or maybe two more videos about like build ideas before the patch notes, depending on what we see. So yeah, thanks for watching. When the patch is live, I probably will not be able to play for the first 2 days, but then I can play for a little bit, and then a little bit more the next day. So when the patch is live by the weekend, I'll be busy, but I think I'll be dodging the free-to-play period anyway, which probably is going to cause server issues, and yeah, I'll be dodging that period. And then maybe I'll miss out on some broken things, but it also means I have a little bit more time and I can see what other people do. Then maybe we can learn a thing or two about it, so I can have a much better first character, right? So at least that is what is going to happen for me. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. There's a 50% chance I will start as this character, so when I do it, there will be obviously more videos about it, and if it's good enough, there will be also a mobility links to a build guide, all those kind of stuff, right? So peace. See you in the next video.